KO Art of Sports here with the great Abel Sanchez. You got your guy, Gasif right here. Tell us you got a big fight. I'm sorry, how do you say? Gasif. Got a big fight with Dennis coming up in December. Tell us how he's looking in camp.
Well, actually, we really haven't started sparring yet. The fight's not until December 3rd. We've had some spotty sparring, I should say. We're not really quite in camp yet. Even though he is in camp already, we haven't started the preparation for that fight. But you know, he's young, he's hungry, he's 23 years old, he's 23-0. He's looking forward to going to Russia and showing his countrymen what American boxing is all about, what the summit is all about.
Recently, obviously, we've all seen you with Triple G out with Kell Brook out in England. After the fight, I believe you guys both, or you gave Gennady a rating of 4, I believe it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Why was that rating?
I thought he got a little sloppy. I thought that when he hurt him in the first round, he lost respect for Kell, lost respect for the punching power that Kell had, not respect for the fighter that Kell is, because he's a great fighter, but just he didn't feel the threat, so he got a little sloppy. I mean, he made it a street fight like he said he wanted to, but we're outside the ring, he's inside, he's going to do what he thinks is in his best interest and what's going to please the fans, and he's always trying to put on a drama show.
That's happened before, where you've told me, like, kind of when Gennady does the, like, you know, kind of come hit me thing, and you're always like, don't do that. Like, how do you prevent this from happening again, as far as getting in a street fight?
I think that the only reason it happens is because he feels that there's no threat. Obviously, if he fights a big, strong middleweight, for instance, when he fought Lemieux, he didn't allow Lemieux to get close to him. He jabbed him, he hit him with good body shots, and it wasn't a fight that Lemieux expected. It wasn't a fight that people expected, but the perceived threat for Lemieux was a lot more than Brook or with Wade or with Monroe. So he's just trying to put on a show for the fans.
Recently, De La Hoya came out saying that they offered you guys a flat rate for that Canelo fight. Bob Arum said stuff like the flat rate thing is bullshit. That, you know, when you offer a flat rate, it basically means you don't want the fight. Well, is that even true about the flat rate thing? And
you know, that's something that Tom handles. Lucky I'm the coach. I don't really get involved in the finances of that. Once they make a deal, once our team makes a deal, then it's beneficial to all of us. But I did hear that, and I did read Bob Arum saying that. But Bob's been a promoter for a long, long time, and I think when he says something, he says it from experience. So I'll take it for that.
The hope is to see Triple G in the ring with Danny Jacobs in December. But recently, we've been hearing stuff about Jacobs wanting an interim fight. What's the latest with that? What do you know?
Well, from my understanding, we have an HBO date for December 10th. Danny Jacobs was ordered by the WBA to make the mandatory. Golovkin was ordered to fight the mandatory, which is Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs and Tom Loeffler and Al Heyman have been in negotiations. And as far as I know, it's supposed to happen December the 10th. Golovkin's coming into camp on Wednesday of this week to start training and preparing for the eventual December 10th fight. I, as a fight fan, want to see the fight, but I have no control over whether they want to take it or not.
Recently, rumors came out. Freddie Roach actually was the first one to say it, that he heard Triple G drop Kovalev in sparring. What could you tell us about that? Do you know anything about that?
What I can tell you is that I started training Kovalev, and I trained him for about a year and a half. I trained him for 8 fights and 8 knockouts, and I brought him into camp primarily to spar with Golovkin. They sparred about 6 or 7 times, but I think the sparring stories have to stay in the gym. They did spar together. Kovalev turned out to be a very good champion. He just spent a year and a half in my gym. I think that style that he has is reminiscent of some of the styles of the guys in my gym. So I think he's got a very difficult fight coming up against Andre Ward, and that's something that he should be concentrating instead of having to retract and go back to what happened in gyms that really are not important for his fight.
Speaking about that fight against Ward, how do you see that fight playing out, Kovalev versus Ward?
In the Ward that I see today, and the Ward that really hasn't sharpened up like he was in the Super 6. In the Super 6, he was magnificent. He was a great fighter. I don't think he's quite there yet. I see it as a difficult fight. I see Kovalev winning a decision.
You see Kovalev winning a decision.
Yeah.
A lot of boxing experts have told me they see Ward winning a decision just because he's going to use his boxing
Well,
style.
that's why they're experts, I guess.
But there's another big fight in November, Lomachenko versus Walters.
That's a great fight.
Yeah, tell us about that. How do you see that going?
Great fight. Lomachenko obviously is a lot more skilled, obviously. And the one thing about Lomachenko, he has great legs. His positioning is so perfect. Walker's going to be have to be on his toes because it's not so much the power from Lomachenko, but surprise punches, like when he caught Martinez. You know, Martinez never expected that shot. And Walters is very skilled too, but I think it's a very, very good fight. I think could be a fight of the year kind of candidate.
Recently, Mayweather had some comments about fighters saying that fighters were getting paid too much. He was going to talk to Al Heyman about, that these fighters are getting paid too much. What's your take on that? Just being that the man's name is Money Mayweather, and it's almost kind of the climate that
that it's hypocritical. You want to say? Well, I'm going to say this. A lot of people think that Al is paying them too much, but me being a coach, I think that if my peers, my fellow coaches are getting more money for their fighters, great. I think that they've been underpaid for so long. There's very few of us that really make money. There's a lot of us coaches, or a lot of the coaches, my peers, that are working for free. That are working for free because there's really not that much money out there to support their families and to support what they're doing. Most of the time, the money that they make, they're putting back into the fighter anyway, even though that's not their responsibility. So if they're getting paid a lot of money, that means my friends are getting paid a lot more money, and that's okay by me.
Mayweather also, he always recently had kind of criticisms about Gennady and saying that, he wants to see Gennady move up, and even going as far as to say that if he were to beat Ward, that then he could get the Mayweather fight. What's your take on that whole situation?
Well, in order to fight Ward, we'd have to move to 175, and it'd be. I think it's counterproductive to go to 175 and then come back down to one. Unless Mayweather was going to fight him at 160 and he could sign a contract saying that, then I think that he would talk to Tom, and then I'm sure they would come up with something. But it's kind of funny how Mayweather keeps mentioning Golovkin. I don't know why. Maybe he has it in mind, and maybe his 50th is going to be against Golovkin. I don't know. But he has been critical of Golovkin. He has been critical of how he's looked, that he's basic, that he's
straight up and down. He says no special effects.
Well, I would suggest that maybe he should fight him before he learns anything more.